This video is made possible by the following mad lads. All their awesome gear they supplied to me can be checked out in the description below. Hey guys, I've done so much practice in this car you wouldn't believe it, boy here, and welcome back to Assetto Corsa for another video. Now if you're a Formula 1 fan, and if you follow this channel you likely are, you'll know that this weekend marks the 1000th Grand Prix in Formula 1 history. And over the course of this Nordschleife Hot Lap Challenge series, I've driven a whole host of different Formula 1 cars from different time periods, but have probably left out one of the most notable. And of course today I'm going to fix that. We're going to be lapping the Lotus 49. Now I often playfully refer to this car as a bathtub full of fuel on wheels, but it is just so much more than that. Conceived of course by the fantastically gifted Colin Chapman, this car was one of the first to include the engine as a stress-bearing structural member. And what that essentially means is at one end it's bolted onto the monocoque, you can actually kind of see it in game, and at the other end it's bolted to the transmission and to the suspension. And to give you guys an idea of just how far ahead of its time that idea was, F1 teams still use it today. The engine is still a stress-bearing member. Despite some early reliability problems, the car still won 4 of its races in its maiden season in 1967, all of which of course piloted by Jim Clark. And just while I mention the quiet champion that was Jim Clark, the lineup of drivers that drove this car in period is insane. Of course, you've already said Jim Clark, Graham Hill in there as well, Mario Andretti, Joe Sifford, Jochen Rindt, just to name a few. I'm sure that probably helped contribute to this car's success over the years. And just before I get to driving this legend, let's very quickly go over some of the engine specs. Of course, like a lot of Lotus and a lot of cars in period, this was powered by a Ford Cosworth DFV V8 3 litre, producing just over 400 brake horsepower. And this car only weighs just over 500 kilograms. So a power to weight ratio of nearly 800 horsepower per ton in a car with pretty much zero downforce means these things would hit 200 miles per hour if you gave them a long enough road. But that's enough about the car. I want to go see how fast we can lap this F1 icon that is the Lotus 49 around the Nordschleife. You know, you never quite get an idea of just how close these cars are to the ground until you get to sit in them in virtual reality. I can't be more, in fact I'm less than a tyre height off the ground right now. My bum is pretty much touching this virtual tarmac. Now because this car doesn't have a speedo, just a rev counter, I've put the in-game speedo just to the right hand side of the steering wheel so you guys can see just how fast I'm going at different points of the circuit. And I've also increased the gearing a little bit just for the back straight, and I've increased the engine limiter to 108%. Means we've got a little bit more power to play with, and the important thing for me, a few more revs, because there are a few places on this lap where you're kind of in between gears, so having a few more revs in second gear really helps out. Anyway, Lotus 49, Nordschleife, let's go. Now one of my favourite things about this car in Assetto Corsa is the intake noise. When you got your, I'm about half throttle right now, and I'm going to hit full throttle. Listen to the change in tone. Intake's open fully. And we get to hear the growl for DFV, but anyway, let's try and put that to good use now, shall we? Coming around the last corner to start our lap. Over the line on the power for our first lap here in the Lotus 49. I say first lap, probably my third lap, but hopefully the one you're going to see on camera. Eke out wide on power, up to third gear early because of the torque. Don't touch that curve, Jimmy. Now towards Hatzenbach, left foot braking down here, get the car nice and neat and tucked in there. We'll keep it further along here. You can see how much the bumps of the road affect the car. Unlike a downforce car, this thing is very much affected by the road surface, so if the road has bumps and camber in it, you tend to follow it whether you like it or not through the first set. I'm taking a few liberties there with the curbs, but I can in this car, so I'm going to. Second gear through here now, nice and easy on exit, very easy to spin it here. Straight line power, nice. Now we get to listen to that DFV roar as we come up towards the flue plats. Now of course, for those of iconic pictures of these cars getting air up here, I'm going to try and avoid that, just about managed it. Getting air over there means that you tend to come down a bit too late and then not be able to stop for the right-hander afterwards, so I try and avoid it in this thing. Got to try and keep the car in a straight line as possible through here. It really wanders, this car. It doesn't like going in a straight line so much, which is part of the appeal. A little bit of air over there down the fourth gear. Trying to get the camber on the inside, just about got a bit wide there. It's okay, we can come back from it. Down to second gear again, nice and neat and tidy. You can't really smash the brakes in this thing otherwise they lock. And now downhill on that mighty V8 as we get up into the revs. We have pretty much a 10k RPM red line in this thing now, the engine limiter, so I don't intend to use it all the time, but some of the time. Really fun corner here if you get it right. Over the inside, nice sideways, down to third. Use the torque, and then down to second for the last part of the corner. Be nice and neat and tidy through here, as neat as you can be. The car will try and slide around, but you can't let it. The car likes to slide, but under its own terms. Don't try and force it. You try and force it, that's when you start having accidents. Down to third now for this left-hander. So much faster in a car with downforce, but we've got none of that. It's all about driving here. I've always thought that driving modern F1 cars is like playing a game of Operation. I knocked out of gear there, like playing a game of Operation, where you have to be millimetrically perfect. Otherwise you end up losing time. With this, it's like dancing a salsa, full of flair, full of expression, neither of which I'm very good at showing, unfortunately. There you go. Second gear now, down to the hairpin, just knock it into first, just for the RPM. Soft on exit. I was going to say walk it out to the outside there, but the back end comes around so quick in this thing. This thing being a 3-litre V8 means we do have some torque. That's what I mean about sliding too much. There's definitely a certain angle you don't want to go past, otherwise you start losing time. But yeah, we've got that torque, so we can hold higher gears when we need to. Really revving it out in third gear, throw it in. Small lift on the way in. And again, so right down again now. Just be nice and easy, trying to back it in a bit too quick into there. The car responded negatively, as you saw. Didn't get anywhere near the apex, but the rear was determined to try and do it for me. Now uphill now, this is so difficult up here. The way the road is laid out, it wants to push the car around, you can't let it. There you go. So easy to hit a bumper the wrong way there and just get catapulted into the barrier, which is not ideal. Fifth gear up here, small lift. Now we're going to downshift to 4-4. This very fast left-hander, back on the power. The power really helps you turn the car in this thing. It's important to use it coming out of a corner, not just get off it completely. If you let the car roll too much, it will just understeer off. Now second gear, big kick of the throttle on the way down to make sure it goes in and we don't lock up the rear tyres at all. Up to the carousel now. We can take this in second gear, but we can brake quite late. Well, late for this car, and then roll it in. Ah, no, a bit too late. Bit too late. It's okay, we'll come back into it. Ignore that, it didn't happen. A little bit too enthusiastic on the way in there. Lost about a tenth, well, about half a second there probably. Doesn't matter too much. Now up the hill. Now we can use third for a long time through here. Now it might sound like you want to shift down, but the car has so much torque it doesn't matter. Easy, easy, easy. There you go, there you go, there you go. Come on, car. That's a really difficult corner for this car. Oh, man. Really getting out of shape now. Come on, Jimmy. Bit softer, bit more smooth. I'm being a little bit too jabby with the throttle. Car doesn't like that. The weight transfers in a weird way. We can be good over here. Back on the power. Small movements, small movements. There you go. And we can still keep it in third down here. It sounds like you want to shift down, but third is fine. We really want to go down to second after we come through YouTube corner. There you go. Second gear now. Now we ride it all the way up. And then back down again. Oh man, this is a workout. Trying to go quick and trying to be smooth are two things that I'm not good at. We're going to get off the ground here though. Down the third. There it is, off the ground. Tyres chirp as we land. Try and know where the road goes through here. The car is just trying to get out of control all the time. Now this part is a proper roller coaster here. You're just completely, your steering is dictated by the road, full stop. Oh! Off-roading, lowers 49 there. Soft on the way in. My word, this is a challenge. Try and hold third for here. Now we'll take a second. And second gear for the second carousel. Out nice and early, now back on the power, come on. Try and be straight. So easy to accelerate while this thing is turning, it does not like that too much. Easy, easy, bring it back in. And now, progressively get on the power, and we can finally let this DFV sing. Rev it all the way up to the red line before taking 5th gear, top gear. Whew. Nearly 300 kilometers an hour. There it is. It's about 185, I think, around there. 183. We've got a couple more Ks going down the hill here. Got to get this turning nice and smooth through here. There you go, nice. Backing off the power, down the 4th, slide it in. You can see the car very rarely pointing in a straight line. Very long braking zone, but smooth is the important thing. Now, are we going to get underneath 7 minutes? I don't think so, but we'll see. Across the line, it's a 6:56, so we did get underneath 7 minutes. I'm not entirely sure what that puts us on the list, but I know it's slower, as expected, than a Ferrari 312T. I think there's probably about 4 seconds in there, 5 seconds in there for me if I kept going around and practicing and making sure I got the bits right that I got wrong previously. But the thing is, in this car, this is a completely different car to what I'm used to driving. It's rabid. It really is. When you say 400 horsepower, whilst that is still a lot, you don't understand what 400 horsepower is with 500 kilos. You are constantly sideways, battling the car, trying to make sure you slide, but not too much. So once you get past a certain angle of the car, it just feels unrecoverable. But anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video. I love driving this thing, so it was a pleasure to make. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit subscribe and the bell notification button. That way you'll be made notified of future streams and future videos like this. Thank you so much, as always, to my Patreons and to my sponsors. Take care, have an awesome weekend, and I hope you enjoy the 1000th F1 Grand Prix. See you next time.